All right, everybody, we are live. So, welcome to Are You Well Wednesday. It's so hard to believe that we are in the middle of August already. Like, where did these months go? So, time is marching on. And tonight, very excited, of course, to um, have CWC on here, and hopefully others here are going to be joining. And we're going to be talking tonight about tracking your health and stress for success. So, I want to go on. My name is Heidi again. I am your wellness companion. And so we're going to get started here. And I have two amazing that need, I say it every week, no introduction here. So if we want to go, Miss Mai, we're going to start with you today, our foodie.
Hi,
Go ahead, Miss Mai.
everybody. My name is Mai. I am your foodie, and guess what I'm munching on right now? I've got some cucumbers, some cheese crackers, and some meatballs. uh, and I'm especially happy because today was the first day of school. So I got in some me time after the drop off the kids. I went for a walk, a nice long walk in the nature center. So I got 11,800 steps.
Woo!
And
All
then
right, Mai.
and then I ate some good breakfast, and then I took a nap. And here I am. This is a great day. Happy first day of school to me.
Awesome, Mai. Good to hear that. And I'm sure parents, they're some excited out there to be able to just get a little bit of me time in. And there's Jack right there. Hey, buddy. So, Courtney, go ahead. How are you doing, Courtney?
I am doing awesome. First of all, happy Wednesday to everyone. Are you well Wednesday? The days are just flying by here, and it doesn't even feel like a Wednesday. So just extremely excited to be able to be a part of the Are You Well Wednesday show with Heidi and also Mai. Mai is the Chief Operating Officer. I don't know if you mentioned that or not, Mai, for Courtney Wellness Companion. Um, I'm very humbled to be the founder and the CEO of Courtney Wellness Companion, and just extremely humbled to be able to just share with you all. The month of August, we've been talking about stress reduction and stress relief, and reducing anxiety and how that plays a role in good health. Um, Apologies, I am at an airport right now, so a little bit of sound in the background, but I do want to make sure that you, for those that are watching this live and watching it recorded, we want to make sure that you share this with some of your friends that might be dealing with stress or anxiety. That because we're going to be just talking about some things that are going to be very helpful. So my is this being streamed through your account? If it is, we want to. Whose account is it
It's
being?
streaming through Courtney
Okay.
Jacob's account, and
Oh,
it's
it's
streaming through our Courtney Wellness Companion group.
okay. Okay, then
So
I'm gonna go in here and make it public, because if it's not made public, then nobody can share it. So the ball is in my court, and I'm gonna do that right as we speak. So I'm gonna make this public. It is now public. Done. I figured out how to do that in like 3 seconds. So now,
congratulations.
thank you. It took many weeks of trying to figure that out, but definitely
We're
take.
getting
Better
we're
late
getting
than
this
never.
technology, huh? We're getting there. We're getting there.
So take a
So,
minute. Yep, take a minute and just share it. If like I said, we're going to be talking about some really good uh, information that's going to be very helpful. So thanks, Heidi.
all right. Well, awesome. I got a message here already from Jeffrey Berger. Hello from Facebook to all the amazing CWC peeps. And he also put here, I'm ready for your keto peanut butter cups. When you put those on there, I was like, yes, just yes. And I'm not much of a sweet person, but when they're talking about peanut butter cups, oh, that's a whole new ball game over there. But
Yes,
so
yes. Did you get your peanut butter cup mold? Because we need that to have that Reese's Pieces um, kind of feel. But it's so super easy. You need your sugar-free chocolate and your peanut butter. You melt it
yeah,
up, you freeze it, and then you get to eat it. It's
you
amazing.
get you get all the bad stuff that tastes so good and it's healthy though. So it's a best of both worlds.
Yes.
So much to offer. Yeah, so much to offer here at CWC. And as you know, this month has been talking about stress reduction for the month of August there, and there's so much going on this time. Like Mai said, we have students going back to school, we got families, we got adults that are heading back to work, trying to get, and we're still battling to a pandemic. So stress has definitely been a lot higher, want to say, over this past 18 months. So what we're going to talk about today is tracking your stress and your health. And it is so important because it increases awareness. Okay. It increases awareness of where you're at. I have, and oh my goodness, I took it off. I didn't put it on, but I purchased an Apple Watch. I got it for my birthday, which was a wonderful birthday present. And it's awesome because it tracks so much. It lets me know, okay, if I'm sitting down too long, it lets me know. Bing, bing, bing. You know, it's time to get up. And some of us need it, right? Because we were just talking about how fast the world is going and how fast these days are going. And for some people, they might be sitting at a job and they're not moving a lot, so it is wonderful to have a tracking device to bring that awareness to you. Okay. Does anybody out there have on the show here, Jins, have any tracking devices that you use? And if so, can you let us know what you are using?
I have my Fitbit, and it's quite simple. It has your pedometer, has your heartbeat, and then it tracks your sleep too, which is nice. And there's a stopwatch, and then you can set a timer for it to when you wake up or whatever timer you want. So this is good. I wear this every day, and this is an older version. I got this pre-love. My sister gave it to me because she got an iWatch. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. It works perfectly fine, and I don't have to carry my phone everywhere, because I know a lot of people use their phone, and sometimes you don't have your phone, it doesn't track your steps, which could be a pain because you did all the work and doesn't track it. So, but if you have a wearable like a Fitbit, it's really good to track everything. And then there's an app that goes along with it, so you can do like it can tell you how many steps you've taken in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. So whatever time frame you want, it's great. And then there's sleep and all that stuff. So I highly recommend some kind of tracking device.
Right. Awesome. How about you, Courtney?
I don't use a tracking device for stress. I kind of I guess I kind of track it naturally without any devices. I think whenever I have anxiety or I have different things, I kind of just notice it. I guess you could say I'm very in tune with my body, and when I need certain things, I just do certain things. I'm sure that doesn't work for everybody, but for me, I actually am able to notice just different things. I might be a little uptight, I guess you could say, and I usually balance that by moving or going outside or different things like that. But I don't specifically use a specific thing to track stress.
Right. And that's awesome. And see, what's nice is whenever you've been dealing with physical fitness and stress and all of that for quite some time, train. But like for so many out there, they don't understand. They're kind of like that's not their realm right there. So what I suggest for those, and we're going to talk about here, we're going to talk about a lot of different devices and all of that. But I want to get back to the basics first, okay? When we talk, the good old pen and paper, Okay, good old pen and paper. Let's start off for those of you, and we have a lot, for those of you like over 45 or something in my age bracket. Sometimes technology is not, and my laughs there. Sometimes technology is not our friends, or we just some of us don't want to learn. So what we can do, again, it is so important, I think, to track. Again, we want awareness. So we go to the doctors, right? We're having issues. We go to the doctors. You have high blood pressure, or you have some. This could be stress related. Okay, so here's the thing. Doctors, they'll let you know by doing blood work. Do you see how that they identify the problem through their technology, through their process of elimination? Okay, any holistic or doctors or anybody out there, we must do the same for our bodies too. Okay, so if we're getting having issues, we're having stomach issues, we are having we have fatigue, we are having sleeping disorders, what is triggering that? What are we finding? So it's so wonderful to journal every day. Yes, it's so wonderful to journal every day. So even like a month, if you give yourself a month, you're going to see what we call patterns in your everyday life. Okay, so that's when we do the process of elimination. So if you sit there, and I'm writing down at the end of the day how it went, different things, maybe a situation was stressful. So what do we want to put when we journal? Because people's like, I'm not really a writer. I don't like to write. I don't like to take the time to do that, which is fine, but it could be very simple. You just have a date. Calendars already have the dates and the times, so you can get a calendar and write it down. Just write down quick what the situation was, who was around, okay, how you coped with that situation, and then you're going to see a pattern, because some people might be like, okay, at 8:05 my blood pressure is starting to go up, I'm feeling anxious, I'm having all these issues. And you're seeing that over a week or 2 week period, that at 8:05, well, it just so happens you start work at 8:05, or you start seeing certain people. So like I said, you start to see a pattern, and then you can take that. And some people with stress, I don't care who it is, I think everybody should have some therapy, no matter what. I think talking to somebody is so important, to express that. Some people think, oh no, that's not me, that's not for me. Well, it's actually for everybody. What do you guys think of that, of tracking? Have you ever done that? Had a little journey, and kind of made yourself aware of what you are going through?
Yeah. So I want to add to that, journaling.
Sure.
I did a lot of that when I was going through my depression and my anxiety. It's just like there was a lot of stuff in my head. It was not, everything was all mixed up. But like when you put it on paper, even though like it may not make a lot of sense, you're kind of like taking the pressure off yourself. And that's everything you're holding in your head, and just putting it down. And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It makes sense to you. Maybe it doesn't make sense to you now, but like just put it all down. It doesn't have to be like like how they have it on TV, the journal, Dear Diary, blah blah blah. It doesn't have to be profound. Like sometimes you just need a like stream of consciousness, just write stuff down. And it doesn't have to like make sense to anybody, but just write it down. And more likely than not, you're gonna have like, I don't know, you feel a little bit lighter. You feel like, okay, I'm putting stuff down, and now is not the time to be a perfectionist, like correcting your grammar or your spelling or your handwriting or whatever. Just write stuff down. It can be in bullet points. It could be lists. It could be like whatever. Just journaling is so important. And then like, eventually you'll find like you might have a style that you use. But it's good to like write down the dates and things that maybe have triggered your whatever event that you're going through. So just pen and paper and a journal and a book is like it's there, because like you don't need to work the technology. And sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't want to turn on your device. Just it's just write in your journal, and then that sometimes help you fall asleep. Yeah, so that's what I have to add about journaling. Courtney?
Right.
That's awesome. Awesome. I was going
Right.
to just read Jeffrey Berger, one of our strategic partners. He writes here, I have a daily journal that tracks water, hours of sleep, quality of sleep, mood level, energy level, quality of nutrition, pain level, glucose levels, the days, wins, and place for gratitude. That's a very, very detailed plan, journal system that he has there. And Jeff, I'm curious to know how are you doing that all in one place, or are you doing that in multiple places? I think for the average person, that is probably a good idea to have a way to keep track of as much as you can keep track of as it relates to your health. Certainly, most people are not going to be at that detailed or at that level, but it is your body. So there's nothing wrong with being that detailed about your body. Me personally, I kind of don't do that. Like I do keep track of like how much sleep that I have, but I don't journal it. I just know it in my head. I did want to ask everyone too, those that get a chance to, and just to create a little bit of engagement. We're talking about stress and we're stress reduction and anxiety. Would love to know how you would rate yourself on average on a daily basis on a scale of 1 to 10. Is your stress level low or is your stress level high? That's something to be very mindful of. And certainly this topic of, journaling, that is going to be a good way for you to, if you're not as in tune to what you're doing on a daily basis, on your own, it's going to probably be best for you to go ahead and have a system where you can kind of track at least certain things, whether it's as detailed as what Jeffrey put up there, or if it's just simply how much sleep you had, how much water you're drinking, what is your nutrition plan. Those are some things, and then you can make it as detailed as you want it to be. And so yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
And you know what, Courtney? Here's the thing, too. It's funny that whenever you see people have records of their car, people have records of their homes, right? Okay, well, their furnace, that filter was changed on this date, blah, blah, blah. With my car, I had my oil changed. This is when I waxed and walked. But isn't it funny that our own temple, our own body, that the thing that's going to be with us forever and until our last breath, that we are not always in tune with that. We're in tune with so much other what's going on, even you get into things with social media, anything, but we're that out of tune with our bodies. And I loved having, I journaled for a while whenever I had some issues. I journaled and I got a blood pressure thing because I never had high blood pressure before. And I had this experience where it went for some reason. I don't know what happened like a year and a half ago. Went through all this. I was recording my blood pressure 3 times a day. It was a little obsessive, but it just made me, at the end, when I went back to the doctor, I said, listen here, this is what it was. So I went back and I would put what I ate, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. I put what I ate through today. I put what my blood pressure was and what I was feeling, if it was a bad day. And you can have, they have little stickers for those who don't want to get in detail. They have so many cute and fun ways to track your health. If you go on Amazon, whatever, or even at the dollar store, little stickers. Smiley face for a good day, a sad face for a sad day. You want to be a little bit more in depth again because you want to know what the pattern is that you're seeing. But here's the situation. If we don't get that stress under control, we are going to have a lot of health issues. Okay. Half, would it say 55% of patients that go to hospital for diagnosis of diseases or different issues is stress related. Now, that's what that was on a panel. It might even be more now, but that was on a study. Okay, that many people that are going into the hospital or going to the doctors, I mean, are stress related things.
Hey Heidi,
Blood for yes.
on average, what would you say your stress level is? Just on average, mine is 2 to 3. Maya says hers is 3 to 4. What would you say it is on average?
Oh goodness. Right now we're gonna talk. I've been anywhere from probably a 5 to 8, but I have things going on. Like it's a busy time, pandemic stuff like that. Most of the time, it's between the 3 and 4. But during this time of stuff that I have going on, it's a little higher. I have to say, because I'm like a high-strung person to begin with, so it's real work for me to keep my anxiety down for
Yeah.
sure.
Have you noticed that you're able to control your anxiety better? So would you said on average you're a 4 or 5 these days. What would you say, like, a few years ago? Do you think that number has gone down on average, or has it always been kind of the same?
No, like I said, I've always been kind of a high strung person, even when I was younger. It's just in my DNA, I guess. But here's the thing, it's learning how to cope with it and learning different things. So for example, when I was younger and I'd get stressed out, I went a lot to music. And it was funny, like music and dancing. If you stick on some 80s music now, I could be in the worst mood, and if I hear a tune that's going to take me back to a happy place, I'm jamming and it's going down. My stress is going down. So it's just, my husband just peeked his head up here, distracting me, but I love him. So it's just, it just depends. What's that?
Sorry, I was gonna read what Jeff was saying here. He says you're correct.
Oh, okay.
You're correct with stress being a huge contributor to many health issues. He says high levels of cortisol impact so many things, especially adding extra weight to both men and women. Yeah, that's
right. And we hear about those cortisol
that
levels that rise. And here's the thing, guys, women just think it's for them only, and a lot of men. And we're having Peggy has joined. Hello.
Hi.
It is a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. This is a good topic.
So would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself?
Oh, I don't want to interrupt you. I know you were talking.
Oh, that's okay. We'll pick up. Go ahead and if you want to say hello and
okay. Yeah, my name is Peggy, and I was invited to the group by Mai, and so currently I am actually taking a medical leave I'm a teacher, and my stress level is super high. I've been experiencing a lot of panic attacks and just a lot of I don't know, cumulative stress that I haven't dealt with in my past. And I think the pandemic really was a catalyst to have just feeling this. My body is just telling me I can't handle it anymore. I used to just power through whatever I need to do for work. And then I come home and wear the mommy hat. And then I don't know, this year I just can't fake it anymore. So I'm actually, it's a good thing. I was forced to take a leave of absence, and I've been having a lot of time to process my past emotions and journal. And in the past, I would just give the time when I drive home from work in the car, and that was my processing time, which is not enough.
right.
So now I realize that I have to hold awareness of myself. I have to put myself first. I wasn't doing that at all. I just put everybody else first, and I brought up as I say I'm addicted to people pleasing, and I'm trying to break all those unhealthy cycles now. So that's me.
Well, Peggy, thank you so much for your transparency. And first and foremost, just want to let you know you are not alone in this process here. There, you are definitely not alone. There are so many. This pandemic has definitely been such a big weight on our shoulders and everything else. And it is. And when we started talking about that journaling, and so many people, it's like your story was just stuck in your body. Stuck in your body, good, bad, whatever was stuck in there. And then when you start journaling, it's like you release it. And then for years and years, people put that back. Oh, I don't got time to deal with that. I don't got time to deal with that. And all that does is just keep building and building and snowballs until your body simply says, listen, this is enough. Like, I can't do it right now. This is enough. I can't deal. So what's wonderful though is that you are on, you acknowledge, you have that awareness now that you're at your limit, and it's uphill from there. You know what I mean? That's what's exciting, is that you can take the steps now in order to get yourself where you need to be.
Yeah, definitely. Hitting the bottom isn't fun. I was commenting to it's hell. I don't want to be here, but someone said to me that this is happening for me and not happening to me. So I like that perspective, and all I can do from here is learn from my experience, and just the me time is not a luxury anymore. It's a mandatory time for everyone. So that's what I would recommend for everybody.
Yeah. Also wanted to add, I'm very proud of you for taking this stance for yourself. And it's hard, right? After you've been a people pleaser and putting everybody first, it's like you can't even fathom like taking time for yourself, for your mental health. Like, you have all these responsibilities, but like, this is what many of us need, but we just afraid to take it because of our jobs, because of what others may think about us. But if you are able to take a leave of absence, absolutely do it. That's why they have programs like that, employee something service program for that, because everybody's going through mental health, and now more than ever, it's like accepted. I guess it's more not so hush hush, because people are taking advantage, because they're realizing that when you take care of your mind, you have more functional employees, people who can give more. But when you're sick, you're just like on red alert all the time. So good job for taking time off.
Mom.
Right. And we had Jeff on here last week that was talking about the brain and the gut health. And how that relates. And that's when you hear people that have colitis or have digestive issues and stuff, and they're stressed. So that that just goes to tell people have heart issues from that stress, higher blood pressure. So this is why it's so important for anybody that is feeling, and even if you are at a stress level of 2 to 3, like a lower end, that can rise. So continue. What are you doing now? Like what? And some people are just chill. Like Courtney, I want to say, for example, he was so, with the flight thing, I'd have been like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, I'd have been like crying somewhere in the thing, and just learning that behavior and being like, okay, today I'm just going to write it. I'm going to remind myself right now how I'm feeling, because I want to know when that comes up, and it's going to come up again, because we all know, if anything, that we cannot count on all good days ahead. So what do we got to do? We got to get our armor. We got to get all of our armor, all of our things. There's been people, the stress balls. There's actually, I've seen people at work and all of it that actually just squeeze or just do that. And that's releasing tension. You'll see a lot of people grind their teeth. Now, this is a bad way to deal with it, but people will grind their teeth also with tension or do fidgety things and stuff like that. So there's so many things. So let's talk about, again, some of yes, give yourself space and time to process your emotions. You're absolutely right, Mai. So I have some tracking devices here, which I'm going to show.
Real quick, Jeffrey said there's a reason for sharing your story. And thanks, Peggy. It is hard. Totally resonate with you saying that you are being a people pleaser. And then Jeff also helped me out with the EAP, Employee Assistant Plan. So they have that at some of the corporate jobs. Teacher has it. Just depending on your job, like see what kind of emotional support they have, so therapy or something. So it's for the employee and it's confidential. So use it.
Right. And I always tell people, even go see somebody. If something's wrong with your heart, we go to a cardiologist, right? If something is wrong, we go to specialists. Same thing. Obviously, something if they're in your feelings or mental awareness or illness, we go see somebody, right? That's what we do. So that stigma of, I think, is long past than the way it was before, with the way people think about going to see somebody. So tracking your health. So what you're going to do, if you don't feel good or if you're not in good shape, doesn't that just add to the stress, right? Mm-hmm. So it all goes back. Some people are stressed because they're not in good shape physically, okay? Not just mentally, but on a physical standpoint. So I'm going to show and share with you guys. Here's some across the screen. These are some tracking devices that help you track your steps, your sleep. I even have one. I got, like I said, the Apple Watch 6 that I just got. It even has an echiogram that does, so I can see to make sure I'm not in AFib. So just the technology now that they have, is amazing. And it also checks my oxygen levels, which is very important now with the pandemic, but it also checks my oxygen levels in my blood. So again, these are different tracking devices. We have a couple over here too that I had written down that I don't know. There was one, it's a headset style device. It's called the Muse, MUSE. There's another one. It's called the Spire, SPIRE. Okay, and it's a tiny green stone, and you can attach it to your belt or your bra, anything like that. And what it is a breathing sensor. Because our breathing has a lot to do too. What's the first thing when you're having a panic attack or anxiety attack? What's the first thing somebody says to you? Breathe. Okay. And on these tracking devices also, they also remind you to breathe. I know with mine, it kept going off and it was like, take a deep breath, and it was doing, and I'm like, I'm breathing, I'm busy. But it was a nice reminder to let me know to get up or to breathe. Or in today's world, we're in a world that we're just running. So there's nothing wrong with getting something that's going to make you aware of your body. So Courtney says it's like a domino effect. You don't feel well, you don't want to move, you crave sugar, you don't sleep well, you feel like crap, and you don't want to move over and over again. Courtney, go on with it, brother, because that's exactly it.
That's exactly it.
It snowballs.
Yeah, and I did want to mention here, the month of August, we're doing a stress relief challenge or stress reduction challenge. And the challenge today was, I was sharing the importance of having a community and having people that can provide you a social stimulation so that you can share these things. definitely, Peggy, thank you for jumping on here and thank you for sharing with us. And we try to create an environment that is conducive for that, because that's very important for people to be able to have get those things out of their mouth, that are inside of them, and get those things out and be able to have the support. So we had a coaching call yesterday, and there was a few of us that were not feeling the best in terms of stress. She just kind of changed the atmosphere, and I forget what you did, Heidi, but it was a lot of
just
fun.
acting crazy, probably.
You probably, yeah, you just did something. You like made it a part, and then we were all
did a
smiling.
breathing exercise.
Okay.
And I just reset the mood a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, for me, it was a lot of bit. Like it was a really nice reset. So that's something that's very important for people to have, along with journaling, having a community, and not just a community, because a community it seems like it's far away, right? Having people that you can have a good time with. Like we have a community amongst our founding membership here, but more than community, friends. Like the companion becomes a real thing, and it's like, because you're more likely to share things with somebody that you deem as a friend versus somebody that you don't. So it's really important to have those people around you. So I just wanted to add that.
And Courtney, that's awesome. That goes into our next thing on this is your community. When you say you are what you attract or what you hang with or whatever it is, when you hang in that call yesterday, I was feeling it's so funny because I turned myself around from the time I started that conversation yesterday in our health coaching class, then from the time I ended. Reason why? Because I was in amongst people that was uplifting. You know what I mean? So it's so important. A lot of people think I just need time to myself, and that's fine, that, but surround yourself, allow yourself that time to be around people that are going to be uplifting, because it changes the tune. And Courtney, I'm so glad you mentioned that yesterday, because when I got on there, I was feeling like a certain way. I was anxious and all of that. And by the end of the call, I was like, oh no, I got this day. I'm ending this on a good note and happy. So definitely in CWC, us alone, we create a community that is going to be there, not judging, just helping. Because why? Because we're real and we're going through everything. And Jeff Berger just put here, CWC is an amazing community, so fun and full of amazing information for sure. It's all about helping others who are looking to lean or learn and make changes. Way cool. Jeff, thank you so much. We adore you, Jeff. Courtney here, community is so key. I so appreciate Heidi, Lindsay, Mai, Ty, Patricia, Tissy, Jacobs, Avita, Abana Girl, Vito Okada, and Zakia Brown for being the community of support yesterday. Yes, it was an awesome call. Yes. And see, just that alone makes you, and that's a way to track. If you're not one for any tracking devices, if you are not one for journaling, you have a community that is going to do that for you. Like we have a community that says, okay, guys, it's time to walk. Or if you're not feeling good, it's time to make you smile today. Mai does that. She just, every time we get on her, she's munching on something. And when I see her go, I'm like, oh my God. And I just have to laugh.
and she's taking selfies. So Peggy, make sure you're ready, Peggy, because at any moment's notice, she's snapping a pic. And she's mostly the only one ready. Everyone else is kind of like.
The one I'm usually like this. I got my mouth open. But just surrounding yourself. So Peggy, I got to ask you real quick, like coming in, you've shared this, being on here for the first, for these little bit of time here. How do you feel uplifted at all? Like, do you feel like, you know what I mean? Like wow, man, I'm just gonna grasp today.
Yeah. You mean right now or just in
Yeah.
general? Yeah.
Yeah, just like, just like right now, just like talking. I want people out there to see that maybe just even how we're just talking in a matter like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Could be uplifting.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of my personal friends have gotten sick of me of sharing my anxiety and panics by now because I've been going through this for about 3 years, and the last month have gotten really bad. And I mean, they can only say so much, and I still super appreciate them. But I think when you have a group that is focused on a topic like stress or just being positive and how to uplift each other, I think there's definitely a lot of power in community. Because sometimes when we fall, we can't pick ourselves up. It's hard because I have a very negative narrative in my mind where I don't know that. Oh, I mean, there's just one time that I was trying to switch over to more of a healthy diet, and Mai was totally texting me and asking me how I was feeling. It was 10 p.m. at night, and I was trying to do this intermittent fasting because in my mind, I'm like, that's good for me. I got to stick to it, but at the same time, um, I just felt so weak, and I was hungry and I just didn't feel well. And then she said, "Why don't you just eat?" I know it sounds crazy, but I think when I was in such a desperate situation where I was like, "No, no, no. I gotta not eat. I gotta stick to my guns." And when she said that, it was almost like this liberating, like, "Oh, yeah, why don't I just eat?" And then I think so. I think just giving myself grace because I hear that, but sometimes we don't know how to do it. So I think being in the community of like-minded people where someone can just tell you, like, why don't you just do that? And it's just such a new, like a new voice where you're just like, oh, I just I didn't think of it. And so after I ate, I felt really good. And I mean, I didn't, yeah, it was, I think that was a very pivotal moment. I don't think I shared it with you, Mai, but that night was just like, oh my gosh, I am so hard on myself. And I just didn't realize that I'm just this hard person. And even though I'm struggling and I'm suffering, I still wouldn't give myself the grace that I needed. And it goes with other things in my life. So I think having a community that are loving you when you yourself can't do it for yourself is really important. So it's wonderful. Also, I just like to be quiet and I just like to listen to you guys. Positivity. So
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Just real quick. The reason why I know that you're hard on yourself because I am hard on myself too. And it took somebody to point it out to me during therapy to realize, oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be saying those things to other people. Why am I saying these things to myself? Why am I holding myself to this like impossible standard when nobody else is? And it's making me miserable, right? So it's seeing that you're doing what I was doing and being part of this community, you have people with different experiences that can give you a more objective point of view because what you see is like very narrow, and especially when you're not feeling well, it's distorted. It's distorted, and what you're believing are like is not based on reality, or it's just like very skew. So thank you for sharing this experience because you're not the only one who have experienced this. I'm sure there are some people that are going through it right now, and by you going through that and being able to articulate it, you can help other people who aren't able to see that yet. Right now, it seems so clear, right? Like, oh, I should have just eaten. But back then, it was like, it wasn't. Not because there's something, it's just because you had a little more perspective and somebody was able to point you point it out to you. So that's the difference. So that's why I want to do the things that I do, because having been there, and that moment, it's just so it's so hard because you don't see a way out. But like there is a way out, and there are many people who've been out of it, and on the other side just wanted to, help you through that bridge. So yeah, good job. Keep working on it.
I mean, maybe I can give some context too. I was trying to cut carbs, sugar, a little bit of gluten, and adding the intermittent fasting. Just, I've never done that. And in my, simple mind, I was like, I can do that. That's no problem. But on top of it, I was also experiencing panic. So when I changed all that in my life in one day, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that hard, because like I said, I just powered through most of my life. And no, and I was, that night I was starving. I was starving because I didn't eat for about 5 or 6 hours, and then I didn't have my normal carbs, and so my body wasn't used to it. So I wasn't in the right mindset. But for some reason, I was so hard on myself, saying, "No, Peggy, you got to suffer, because suffering brings, character, and you just have to suffer." And no, so I was really glad that I had a voice of reason at that time when I wasn't feeling well. So
yeah, that's excellent. And again, like, just because you're suffering doesn't equate like being better, right? Yeah, it's just you're just in pain. So there are always a better way, and you are not alone. And and it also goes to show that you shouldn't make drastic changes all at once.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Yeah, that's why it's, like I said, it's getting that and getting that advice. And I love the fact when you sat there and said about family can only do so much. And it is true, because we look for family to always be uplifted. And after a while, it's tiring for them. I know mine too, because I get so anxiety, and with this pandemic, I'm a real fanatic with it. So, and I know people were tired of hearing it, very supportive, but just tired, like we can't do, what more do we do for, you know what I mean? So going and journaling, or going and being in a community where people understand, or they're going through, and it's like you said, a different ear, that could be a different voice that says, hey, let's get through this, and it's okay. And because they're not hearing you daily complain about the stuff, or feeling the way, so that has really helped too. And some people were like, well, why don't some family or something be like, well, don't we help or something? Yeah, you do, but it's just when it's in your face every single day, it's good kind of to step away and have that other voice that maybe is going through the same thing, or gives you a little more grace, with that. So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, I was leaning so heavily on my husband that it stressed him out too. He had to take care of me and the house and everything. So I was feeling guilty that I was burning him. But
right.
He's like, I can only do so much for you. You need to see somebody who's actually trained for this, who actually has the tools. Because I didn't want to like air my dirty laundry or tell people that I was sick or whatever. It's like a shame, right? But like once he said that, like, I can only do so much. You need to see somebody professional, see a therapist, see a psychiatrist, because they do this every day. This is their job. Their job is to help you. And you're not the only one who's experiencing this problem. So he says, like, you're not unique in your problem. So when he said that, it's like, oh, okay. And then like another thing that like also was kind of a breakthrough for me is when I was kind of hesitant about going to therapy, or reluctant, because I was like, oh, I don't want to tell my story. They're going to be bored. They've heard this before. Like, I was like worrying about the therapists and their
Judging you.
judging me, but it's like, it's their job. They've heard this. So they're providing you a treatment. So like it's weird, but it's like, don't worry about the psychiatrist or the therapist. They're there for you. It's not their feeling that matters. It's about you. They're trying to help you. So like, once I learned that, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah.
And it's like this too. If you're here, take this analogy. Oh, wait, hold on. Jeff says CWC is amazing. Community, so fun and full. Oh, did we already read that? I'm sorry. We read that one. Thank you, Jeff, again. Mental fitness is the new physical health today. Yeah, bam. Definitely true, Jeff. And the way I like to think about it is, if your car, you're driving down the road, if you hear something thumping in it, if your check engine light comes on, you gather this information, right, of what your vehicle, what's wrong with it, before you take it to an auto body place, right? Because you can't just take it in there and expect them to fix something that they don't know what is wrong with it. So you write these down, and then you tell him. Same with that. If you don't write, or if you ignore the problems that are wrong with your car, eventually it just quits. When you get a flat tire, you're not checking your oil, you're not putting in the gas, which would be your food, it'll just stop. Same thing with our bodies. We have to, my phone going off. Sorry. But we have to do that. And by listing that, we find what is wrong. So when we go to the doctors or whatever healthcare professional, we can tell them what we are experiencing. That's why it's so important to be aware of your issues, your check engine light, your check oil. So that is there. It says here, we have from somebody, who is that? I love what was said about making me time is not an option anymore. Mondays are my me day. I focus totally on what makes me smile. Yes.
That was Nikki Fluid.
Nikki, thank you so much for that. You are absolutely right. Yes. And I'm trying to see here if that, so like I said, when we get back here, we got a few more minutes left. I'm going to put back on there those different tracking devices that if anybody out there would be interested, there's some tracking devices, but I highly recommend Evita. She said yes, and I just pictured her saying yes too, like that sassy yes. But I highly recommend journaling. I just think it internally feels like you are writing your story. You're writing down. The other things are wonderful to track all those other health and stress related things, but I find that just writing is really intimate with me. These are my words, these are my thoughts, these are my issues, and I'm putting them down on paper to express them. Especially, like you said, Avita says, love that Make a Move Monday and Monday Me Day. Woo, woo. That's what she done. So, yeah. Do you guys, anybody have any other questions or anything that they would like to share before Courtney looks like he's about ready to hop a plane?
Hop a plane. So I think things that we can do easily to de-stress is sometimes just leave the stressful situation. So if it's your house, go outside and try to take some deep breath, enjoy some nature, look at something else. Because sometimes when you're stuck in a situation and you keep trying to work it out, it just gets worse because you're not getting any new stimulation. So see if you can get out of that environment, or ask somebody to come in and give you a different point of view, because you never know, because you're stuck. And when you're stuck, you might need a little push or somebody to give you an alternate direction or something.
And to be transparent with your spouse, your family, to sit down in a good way. Evita says, I'm here and listening at daughter's going away dinner. Love this topic, taking lots of tips. Evita, we love you and so glad that you are getting a lot from this. You have so much to offer to us as well. But yeah, being transparent, I think it's very important to communicate with your family, with your spouse, whoever is in your circle, to communicate and sit down and even have a meeting, where you can say, because a lot of times we hold that in the way that we act, or some we act out, or we're depressed and we don't come around anybody or anything, and then the person thinks that it's them or something's wrong with them. So communication, I think, is so key to making that first step and getting your community to come on board with you to help you.
Yeah, I think we covered it. So if you're watching this on the replay, please share any tips that you use to track your stress level or what you do, because everybody's experience is different and unique. So one thing might not work, another thing might. So it's your experience is very valuable because it's yours and it works for you. And also on the reverse or whatever, just because something works for somebody doesn't mean it works for you. So that's why you got to try different things. And when it works, see why it works and see if you keep doing it. And if it keeps on working, then keep doing it, right? So.
Right. And I wanted to thank again, Peggy, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. You're an absolute doll. You're absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
and we at CWC here are here for you anytime, day and night, and to help you out, because we're right along. We're right along with you in this, in this journey, in that situation. And anybody else out there, if you are looking for a community to help you track and stay on track and be accountable and give you that awareness, please tell a friend, family, CWCICourtney.com, and get started. And this is just a wonderful community. It's a wonderful family that I've grown to love and look forward to seeing every day. So thank you guys so much for joining.
Bye.